Joining me now is Chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, Mark Green, Republican Congressman from Tennessee, also a member of the task force on the attempted assassination of President Trump. Congressman, good morning to you. Thanks for being with me.
Good morning, Markie. Thanks for having me.
Could I first just start with something that Joe has said in his reporting this morning that is a head scratcher? Why won't there be Secret Service at today's hearing? Did you try for that?
We've had some interim briefings from the Secret Service on their reporting and their investigation into this. We're going to be, and we're also doing a lot of transcribed interviews with the Secret Service. So those are more private with video cameras, and they go under oath there, and they're extensive. This is easier. It's easier to do these type hearings with a broad swath of people. When you want to drill down on a single individual, you want 4 or 5 hours with that single individual under oath.
Do you think that's a miss for the American people today to not hear directly from them?
No, we're going to include the transcripts and all that. When we do our report, you'll get all the details from those transcribed interviews. So the American people will get to see that. Today, it's looking at, one of the big problems, the Secret Service came out and really tried to push this off on local law enforcement. And we want to make sure the local law enforcement get an opportunity to tell their side of the story.
Yeah. I also want to ask you what you made of that blistering Senate probe that was released on Secret Service failures. I mean, your takeaways from it, sir, and how does that play into your hearing today?
Sure. It pretty much aligns with what we've discovered. I made a trip out to Butler as the chair. I took the Homeland Security Committee out there before they formed the task force, and went through sort of the pre-planning phase. We went through the execution phase, and most of what they brought up we had gotten, I'd say 90%. And there are some things that we picked up that isn't in their report. So I think both of us going at this independently means that we're going to get very comprehensive answers to the problems at the Secret Service.
And Congressman, you're the chair of the committee that authorizes the Secret Service. So have you yourself talked directly to any of those agents who were there that day, or even Director Rowe in the wake of these attempts? And have you walked away feeling like you have a better understanding, or are you still in the dark like the rest of us?
No, I think we have a very good understanding of what happened. Now, we're not excluding certain things. For example, we're not ruling out that there isn't some foreign accomplice or any, but right now the evidence is pretty resoundingly a no on that, but we're not closing the door. So there are things that we have a good inclination, but we're not closing the door on. We're still investigating. I will tell you that Rowe has been very forthcoming in the briefing that he gave, classified briefing that he gave myself and the ranking member. He admitted about 10 or 12 different major failings, most of which include just failing to follow their own policy. And there's a significant culture problem there, of complacency at Secret Service. So, and this is not the line agents. This is sort of in the mid-level leadership. And I asked him very specifically, is there going to be accountability? He said yes. And I said, well, I'll look forward to hearing back what you decide to do.
Yeah, and some of the details just damning. I mean, not even going to that building or seeing the rooftop just seems like gross oversight. Lastly, before I let you go, I know that Iran has also been threatening President Trump. We have 41 days left till the election. What do the American people need to know about that specifically? Because you got a whole lot of voters who hope to see both of these candidates at a whole lot of rallies leading up to November 5th. What do Americans need to know about Tehran?
Sure, they're a criminal state, and unfortunately they've been empowered by this current administration. Biden and Harris have embraced Iran and empowered them by lowering sanctions, allowing them to make more money, equip their proxies, the Houthis firing missiles into the Red Sea, Hamas invading Israel, Hezbollah with all of its power and strength interdicting inside of Israel. This is all because Donald Trump had such a strong arm against Iran, and this administration basically released them, and it's allowed them to pursue not only Pompeo and many others. American journalists have had death threats against them, and now because of Soleimani, they're after Donald Trump.
It's a scary time.
It's
a couple seconds left. Would you let your children or maybe even grandchildren go to a rally right now?
Sure, sure. I think the Secret Service has made and implemented the changes. They're vigilant now. What I'm seeing, the level of security for President Trump is very close to the President of the United States.
Okay.
The
House
acting
Homeland
president.
Security Committee Chair Mark Green, thank you so much, Congressman. I know you have a busy day ahead. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.